At this point, Mr. Guest, do you have any further questions?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Mayorkas, it was reported, or excuse me, Secretary Mayorkas, I apologize. It was reported in January of this year that at a meeting with Border Patrol agents that you said that the current rate of release for illegal immigrants apprehended at the southwest border is above 85%. One, did that conversation take place? And two, is that number accurate?
Congressman, I'm not familiar with that number, and I'm not certain to which conversation you refer. I have visited the border so very many times. Perhaps some additional details would guide me in responding to your question accurately.
Yes, sir. And I'll read from the article. It was a Fox News article. Headlines: Mayorkas tells Border Patrol agents that above 85% of illegal immigrants released in the United States. And it says that was published on January the 8th, 2024. Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas on Monday admitted to Border Patrol agents that the current rate of release for illegal immigrants apprehended at the southwest border is above 85%. Sources told Fox News. Mayorkas made the remarks when meeting privately with agents in Eagle Pass, Texas, according to 3 Border Patrol sources who were in the room and heard the remarks themselves.
Congressman, I'll be pleased to provide you with the data point, and certainly I don't view that article as a transcript.
Yeah, I guess my question is that figure of 85%, is it accurate?
I'll have to follow up with you, Congressman, and provide you with the data you request.
Well,
I don't have at my fingertips that data point.
So you're not disputing this article. You're not saying that number is artificially high. You're just saying at this point that you don't have that number here to either admit or deny the 85% that it was alleged there in the article.
I cannot confirm, and I will do so.
Mr. Secretary, we've in previous conversations discussed Title 42, Title 8. As we know, Title 42 expired in May of last year. We saw a brief dip in apprehensions late May, early June, and we saw the numbers rise significantly after that. We saw in December the number of apprehensions on both the northern and southern border were, if my numbers are correct, are roughly 370,000 immigrants who would have entered the country just in the month of December alone. And so if this number is accurate, if 85% of those individuals who are who attempt to enter are actually released into custody, that would put the number at roughly 315,000 just in December alone. And so these numbers to me are very troubling in that we seem to have a large number of immigrants continue to come in the country. After 42 expired, there were some conversations that you had testifying that you believe that once we began prosecuting immigrants under Title 8 versus Title 42, that we would see those numbers drop, because part of the argument under Title 42 was we were deporting immigrants back to their country of origin or back into Mexico, and they were then immediately returning back across the border with no consequences. And so now that 42 has expired and we're operating only under Title 8, I've not seen a decrease in the numbers whatsoever. If anything, we've seen those numbers increase. And so can you explain to me, now that 42 has expired and we don't have that revolving door of immigrants being apprehended, returned to Mexico, and then coming right back in the country, why we can't seem to get any relief, why we continue to see, as what you've referred to the first time I've ever heard you refer to it as a crisis. I've heard you repeatedly say this is not a crisis and that the border is secure. I think this is the first time that you've said that. I know that the President said that, I believe, in January, that not only did he say the border wasn't secure, he said that it hadn't been secure in a decade, which would have been there in the entire time in which he has been President, and including time in which he was Vice President in the Obama administration. And so now that 42 has expired, now that we're operating under Title 8, now that we're continuing to fund the Department of Homeland Security in amounts in excess that you asked for, what more do we need to do to be able to secure our border?
Congressman, first of all, it's not the first time I've used that terminology. I'd be pleased. We don't have the time right now, but I'd be pleased to explain to you why the numbers were as high as they were in December and why they are significantly lower since then. There are clear reasons for that. And what we need to strengthen the security of the border is to pass the bipartisan legislation that would provide us with the legal tools and the resources to address what everyone agrees is a broken immigration system. There has not been, in my time in the Department of Homeland Security, which is more than 10 years now, nor in my time in the federal government, which is approximately 22 years now, 12 of which were spent as a federal prosecutor, have I seen a proposal that is as tough on the border and to strengthen the security as this bipartisan piece of legislation.
I yield back, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Guest. I remind us, everyone on the panel here, that the second round is supposed to be 3 minutes.